Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're going to talk about the raid revival that's going on right now. I'm getting a ton of questions about this in Discord, and they're kind of all over the board, so I want to address those right here. I'm going to give you some tips on clearing the bosses, and I'm going to talk about the different pieces of gear and the shop, and what I think you should probably aim for, or at least my opinion on each piece in there, so you can maybe factor that into what you want to farm. Now, one thing about Raid Revival that's different than other events is it is multi-quest only. There are two difficulties, the high difficulty and the brutal difficulty. High difficulty is pretty easy. If you bring your strongest win unit in there, you could probably solo that thing without too much problem. It drops 600 medals a run, and it is a decent way to farm if you don't want to mess with grouping with other people. If you do want to group with other people, there are currently a lot of rooms looking to actually go multi-questing right here. Some of them are dark, some of them are wind, light. I see those three elements all the time, occasionally like a water. So you can find some rooms, but if you want to solo this, it is a soloable quest. The brutal difficulty here is soloable. A quick tip I'm going to show you is turn auto off at the beginning of the fight if you're struggling to clear this on auto. Like if you want to auto farm this solo, and your dude can't do it, or your chick, in this case with Halloween Little Leela, because they're running out of AP in what is a long fight, a little tip that I like to use is have auto off, and then on the first turn, instead of instantly starting to kill stuff, just come down to bells or whatever other AP regeneration item you have, turn that on, hit wait, hit auto, and now the AI will just run this fight over. Little Leela does plenty of damage here. Marymore, I bet you, does just as much damage. And so if you want to just do this kind of like while you're sitting on the couch watching a movie or something like that, this would be the method I would use. But honestly, my little Leela could just solo this on auto without this trick, but I do have like all the gear, vision cards, and stuff like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut here, and then we're going to pick this thing back up after this fight is over. Okay, there we go. Little Leela has defeated the boss. Now let's look at the drops, because a question that I'm getting quite a bit in regards to this event is where do you get the actual leveling materials for all of that gear? Because the loot table for this flan does not include everything you need for all of the other pieces of gear, right? You actually need the coins, and you need to go to the shop to get that done. But you're getting 1,500 coins a run for brutal. That is a lot. It's pretty, it's not going to be too difficult. And I want to mention in the missions tab here, if you clear the flan 20 times, you get a lot more coins in here. What is this? 20, 30, 40, 50, 52,000 coins for clearing it 20 times. That will be a big help towards buying the recipes or the materials you need in the shop. Okay, let's go look at that actual shop. There is all of the raid gear that we've had access to before is in here. If you are targeting a piece of gear, my first tip is get 64 recipes. 63 recipes is the current +5 amount. 64 will be enough to get you the eventual +6 in case you don't see this, a recipe for these come back again before that piece of gear gets a +6. There are also in this shop for 50,000 coins, these MR vision cards. A couple things to remember here. Kraken, Demon Chimera, White Dragon, and Lich come with an Esper. If you want that Esper, all you got to do is pick up one copy of these guys. Boom, the Esper is yours. I think Kraken and White Dragon are very good budget Espers for like cost limited formats, stuff like that. And Demon Chimera is the thing you can use with Shadow Links. If you level up Shadow Links all the way, you level up your Demon Chimera Esper and this vision card, she can now solo the she can go solo Dark Selection Quest. In fact, in this shop is everything she needs to go solo Dark Selection Quest, because there's also evasion gear up here for her as well if you haven't like farmed a piece already. Now, piece by piece here, let me talk to you, especially if you're new, about which pieces of gear I recommend, or at least what these do. Alexandrite Ring, top tier accuracy item in the game. This is what I'm going for this time. I want another Alexandrite ring to help me build some accuracy teams that don't rely so much on 100% hit, so that's what I'm going for. Platinum robe is it's one of our older items. It's fallen off a little bit, but it has a lot of missile resist and defense for your cloth wearers. Platinum helm, I get a lot of use out of my +5 platinum helm. It is a high spirit item with +10 slash resistance, so I like that a lot. Purple lightning is Laswell's sword. If you use Laswell, you want yourself a purple lightning. Soul of Thamasa is a magic penetration accessory, so that's pretty cool. Elf Cloak gets a lot of play because it is a 16 defense accessory. So this is a very strong, it's as good as an armor, almost, right? Like this thing is as good as armors in the game, and you can use it in the accessory. So it's a great piece of gear. I highly recommend everybody has 1 or 2 Elf Cloaks for some point down the line. Defense Bracer is a strong beginning of a fight missile resist item. I don't use it as much as my other gear, but it gets occasional use. I use Galmea Coat all the time. It is a high spirit plus 30% magic passive ability. So a lot of my mages wear this in PvE and PvP, especially in PvE when I'm going for maximum damage builds. If I'm using a mage, this is a great piece of gear for them. Winter Coat is the best evasion item in the game, in my opinion. So if you're running evade, here's your thing. And then Brigandine, this is a very, very good generic piece of armor. It has AoE resist. Excuse me. Almost better. It has AoE resist as the passive ability on it. It's super high defense, super high HP. Chocolate Flan is accessories with a ton of HP on them at the beginning of a fight. White Marshmallow Miniature is crucial for whenever you're doing a lot of status effect fights where you need specific status effect resist. It has a ton. Maybe we'll go look at that here in a second, because I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what all of them that one has. Knight's Armor is for a plate wearers. It's probably the best magic resist piece of armor in the game. Diamond Coat is a gunner outfit. It has missile resistance piercing on it. Very good piece of gear for your gunners. Azure Dragon Armor is super good, but super niche. It is for your spear-wielding units that can wear plate. So, like, if you have them, it's a high defense, really high HP piece of gear that's strong on them, but not a ton of people can use it. Black Garb, I use this quite a bit as well. This is a high evasion piece of gear that also has defense penetration on it. So if you want that route, that's the way to go. And then Survival Vest is a unit attack resistance piece of gear. If you want the specific details of all of this gear, head on over to a WoTV calc and check them out over there. That will be easier than me just kind of like going through that myself and explaining it all to you. Now, I do want to look at the white flan piece of gear, because I think this is one that a lot of people sleep on, and it's one that I use quite a bit, especially like the white flan is one of those things that when you need it, like this guy right here, you really, really need it. Now note that mine is a +0. I did not +5 this thing. And at +0, you get poison, paralyze, petrify, confusion, and sleep resistance 25. So in those fights where you're struggling against one of those status effects, this, excuse me, this can make a big, big difference. So you don't need a +5 this piece of gear. If you don't have any of it yet, I recommend just picking up a couple recipes, building yourself that +0, and then, you have this. It's ready to go, sitting in your bag, and when a fight comes up where you need it, you will not regret the fact that you picked one of those things up. So there we go. If I sort my stuff here by rarity, you'll get to see like the chocolate flan earrings, I was talking about those. They got the stun resist on them and the max HP 25% for 3 turns. A lot of people swear by this for Drain Force users. I don't really love it for that, but a 14 defense, 480 HP accessory is pretty dang good with the stun resist and more max HP. Super useful. So if you're a new player and you can find the time to farm at least like one +5 piece of gear from this event, it will be a nice boost to your account. You can't go wrong with the Elf Cloak. If you just want to pick a generic one, you can't go wrong with Elf Cloak, because like everybody in the game can basically wear this piece of gear. Like, let me go back to this. Like, it's like everybody can wear it. It's as good as armors. I use Elf Cloak quite a bit, especially on my tanks when I'm running a no armor setup. I'll give them like a magic resist armor, I'll give them the Elf Cloak, and I'll do some other accessory in their TMR slot. So that's kind of my breakdown on this event. Again, if you want to do the Shadow Links clear, or you want a cheat, like if you're looking for another evasion Esper, man, that Demon Chimera is worth picking up. You should probably try to pick up at least the Esper of all of those, in my opinion. And there you go, guys. That's going to be the video. Thank you for watching. That's my little TLDR on the Raid Revival. Happy farming this weekend, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.